This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. Do you wake up with a frown on your face? That's why you need Grumpy Coffee. Head to grumpycoffee.com.au. We've got the best beans in all the land. We've got the best blend in all the land. We've got pods. We've got everything. grumpycoffee.com.au. Turn your frown upside down with Grumpy Coffee.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, and I'm here with the big fella, Bradman Best. How you going, brother?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Mate, thanks for coming on, bro. How's the, after a crazy year, obviously, for yourself, how's the body feeling?
Yeah, good. It's obviously been a big year and plenty of highs and lows, but yeah, body's good and enjoying a break now, but yeah, it's been a good year.
And so is this one of the first pre-seasons you'll head into, like, ready, raring to go, like, pretty much, because, like, the tough thing about some seasons is that a lot of people, once you do get to the season, don't realise that you might have missed, like, I don't know, 10 weeks of an off-season or 6 weeks of a pre-season. And you'd know by now, because you would have done, like, probably 5 or 6 pre-seasons. Like, if you've got a interrupted pre-season, sometimes you don't find your feet till, like, round 10.
Yeah, hard. This is probably the first year of, I'm going in fully fresh and fit. I've had I'm still on break now, but obviously being on Ozcamp gives me a bit of an extended break. So, body's good, mental's good, and yeah, I'm keen to just get back in and start ripping in with the boys.
And Ozcamp, so what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was mad. Obviously, unreal experience. Obviously, I didn't get to play, but, it just makes me more hungrier to put that jersey on next year. But, yeah, obviously being around such high-caliber players and, it was unreal. I loved it.
When you get the call, did you get the call from Mal directly to go in or your manager?
Yeah, manager.
Yeah.
And, so they just said, so obviously footy season finished and they just said, keep training, stay fit for us because, you're in contention for the Oz side. And I said, yeah, sweet. And then, 2 weeks went by and the extended squad come out. I think it was the 50-man or whatever it is, 40-man squad. And they said, all right, well, you're in that, but, it gets cut down in, 2 weeks or so. So keep training and, you might be in the team. And, when I found out I was in the team, in the squad, 21-man squad, I was buzzing. I was over the moon. And, I was happy as.
So hectic. So, yeah, when you get the news, is it first call to your old man or your mum or what's it like?
Yeah, it was mum and dad. I think I might have rang dad or mum first, one of them, and they were just so happy for me, so stoked, and then let all the family know, little brother and sisters, and they were just so happy.
What's it feeling like you're walking into camp? Because I think, obviously, I've never made Australia, but I've made teams. It doesn't really hit you until you put the gear on. At least for me, it's like when you get the gear on, you're like, holy shit, like I'm here. Yeah,
that was sort of first day. So. Got into camp. We started in Brizzy, so got up there and obviously meeting all the lads. And then, when you get to put the gear on and they're taking photos and that sort of when it started to feel surreal and kicked in. And I couldn't wipe my face.
And so you get into camp and you boys you beat Tonga, but it was a relatively close game. I know Dearden scored in the last set, but it was a relatively close game. What did you reckon you learnt the most by watching how the team, I guess, handled? I know you won all 3 games, but they were relatively close. What do you reckon you learnt the most from the camp?
I think it was more the mental side of things, the mentality. Obviously the boys are the best players in the world, so on the field, everyone just does their thing. Everyone just plays to their best of ability, and everything just pans out the way it's meant to be. But I think off the field, it's listening to like Yowie and Harry Grant, the way the boys talk and the way they go about it. The mentality side and the preparation sort of thing was what I got out of it most. Yeah.
I can only imagine, like, as having played NRL, but then going into an Australian camp, like the level of training would just be so hectic.
Yeah, the intensity is what stands out for me. It's everyone's on the same page, and it's actually pretty mad to sit back and watch because I wasn't playing. I got to watch. I could pay attention a bit more of the training and that.
Yeah.
So it was pretty mad watching. The way the boys spoke when we come into the huddles.
Yeah.
The way the boys attack the drills and go into it was pretty mad.
And who was your roomie?
I had Huddy Young, Hudson Young.
The big fella?
Yeah, he was mad. He was good fun. I knew Hudson before, so it was good. Spent a fair bit of my time with Barney.
Yep.
Obviously being with that clubland at Nui with Barn. But all the lads were mad, like Hammer, all the boys, we got along mad, and it was good fun, yeah.
Man, I can only imagine. And so did you get an opportunity to celebrate after the win, or did you have to split camp straight away?
Nah, the boys, we got to have a few beers and that after. All the boys, obviously, like some were going to Townsville and whatnot the next day, but we got to rip in that night, have a few beers in the sheds, and then we had a function as well. So we had there with the families, and then us boys went out and.
What was it like that game 3? Against the Tonga, sitting on the sideline with the Tongan fans singing? Was that hectic?
Bro, unreal. The atmosphere, the Tongans, they were crazy. The fans. So when we're going into the stadium, so the bus ride.
Yeah.
When obviously looking out the window, just Tongan fans everywhere waving their flags. That was pretty hectic.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the atmosphere at the game was crazy.
Crazy. I just hearing it on the TV.
Was that loud?
I'd never heard anything like it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Far out. What an experience, bro. What an experience. I guess it's one of those kind of strange things where before it happens, you're probably saying to yourself, look, if I just got selected in camp, I'd be stoked. But then once you get in camp, you're like, man, I just need to stay here. I don't want to leave.
Yeah. It was definitely like that,
Yeah, far out, mate. And so, like, this year for you, like, as you said, like, really up and down year because, you had the whole Origin series, which, we'll get into, but, nights were there or thereabouts, and then you had the hammy injuries. Like, I guess, how would you kind of wrap your year up if you were to wrap it up in a sentence or two?
Yeah, I think challenging year for the team and myself. I think we definitely rode the highs and the lows. I think, when we won, we probably carried on a bit too much, and then, when we lost, we were like, well, this just sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it was, we just need to find that balance. And then, obviously, I think, we changed a lot of our team spine. We didn't really have, cohesion. We only found it late in the year. So I think that was a big one. And, obviously myself, injuries and, I just need to stay fit and healthy. But, it's all learning curves and, I'm grateful for it all, and it's only going to make me a better person.
Mate, walk us through the Origin series. We've got an absolute passionate New South Welshman next to me here. Mate, what a crazy, crazy series, bro.
Crazy.
So you came in game. Which game did you get? Game
3.
Game 3, yeah. And you made your debut game 3 last year as well.
Yeah.
And so you're coming in game 3. It's up at Suncorp. You haven't beaten Queensland in however many years, and everything's like it's such a dramatic series. I guess walk us back to game 1 when Suoliti obviously nearly kills Walshy. I guess I think you were just about to come back from injury at this stage. I think.
Yeah.
Where were you at when game 1 kind of occurred? And
So I just got injured. So I got injured. I think it might have been 2 weeks before.
Yep.
And then I think I was on the verge. I could have played, but the injury just did my hammy and didn't let me. So obviously game 1 panned out how it did, and to be fair, the boys, I thought they played unreal. Obviously the circumstances down to 12, but I wasn't in camp, but the boys were saying throughout that game there was still faith and hope. The boys believed that they still could have won, or they had chances to do something, which I believe. And then game 2 they brought it back.
Yep.
And then lucky enough, game 3 I was called in to do a job. And
do you remember the phone call from Matt? Was it from Madge?
Yeah, it was from Madge. Yeah, so I just finished playing down at Canberra with versus Raiders. I remember walking on to get on the bus, and as I sat down, Madge rang and he said, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in." And then because there was a bit of a niggle with my hammy again, he said, "Oh, how's that hammy?" I said, "Nah, it's all good." And then he said, "Righto, well, you're going to be playing. You're in left centre. Let's go get this done."
Shit, far out. Okay, so you get called into camp. It's a decider up in Suncorp. What was the build-up like for you? What was the chat in camp?
It was unreal week. Like the belief, the boys, the buzz around training that whole week. We're real connected. We're lucky enough we're out at the Blue Mountains. We're out there for a few days, and we had our camp there, and we were just doing us. We were sort of locked in, and training was real good. It was at a high intensity. When we got to relax, we were all relaxing together, just kicking back, just enjoying it. There was no real, we didn't feel any pressure or anything like that. It was an exciting challenge, and I think, when the Romy and that, when they sort of spoke in the meetings, it was all about us, and I think we went out and showed that, and it was unreal.
So you get up to Suncorp, and I mean, the game was just like an absolute belter of a game. What do you remember before you're back? Because this would have been only your second game in Origin.
Game,
so like it's, I think as fans we just kind of like, oh yeah, he's already played his first game, so it's all good. But it's like only your second game. It's not very far into your Origin career. That's obviously got plenty ahead of it. What's the feeling when you're in the cauldron, Suncorp about to run out?
Yeah, it was a crazy feeling. I remember I didn't want to go out and see the crowd and that. I just wanted to experience it. So I stayed in the sheds, did all my warm up and prep. And I remember just running out and just doing a whole 360 when I was out there, and just said, "Wow, what an occasion! Like this is something pretty crazy." And I can't wait to just soak up and enjoy the moment and just go out there and do my thing. And it was mad.
And so in the game, it was truly like just gridlock. Like you just were just back and forth and forth for like 60 minutes pretty much.
I couldn't believe it. I remember like the start of the game was after 15, 20 minutes went by, I said, this can't keep happening. Like this has got to stop. And then it was 0-0 in the first half, and I was like, wow, this is a game. I remember at half time, and it was still all positive, and we'll just in a ding dong in an arm wrestle. And I was just lucky enough that Romy, crazy how it all happened, and it just unfolded, and I was just there in support. And
walk us through that play, bro. Like so I think it's Angus Crichton offloads out the back.
Gussie offloads it. I think Connor picks up the scrap, and then he offloads it. It's on the deck, and then Romy picked it up and just does his thing. He was skipping around, and then just made a break. And I was a bit late to react at the start, and then I remember I need to get here and push up with him, and then. Obviously he found me. I was lucky enough to be supporting, and then when I went over, I was that much energy and blood going through my veins. I was going through the roof, and we were all so G'd up. It was a mad.
Were you split in this one, or was that?
Split me lip. Yeah, it was split open. It was,
how'd you split your lip open?
I think it was Cobbo's head or elbow or something. I remember when it happened, I touched it. I knew it was bad, but obviously the adrenaline that kicks in. And, there was nothing to stop me when I got that ball.
Yep. And so you go over, you score a try, and it's just like truly what dreams are made of. And Origin, I know that I think Moses ended up scoring, but like that was the try that kind of, won the game. That is truly what dreams. You're up at Suncorp and you score essentially the game-defining try. What's that feeling like?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be hard to top that moment in my career.
Yeah, wow.
I think obviously to win a comp tops it, but that moment. It was everything really. It's special looking back at it, and what we did and what we created. It was a mad feeling.
Yeah, just crazy. I'm as a Queenslander watching it, just going like first seeing Luai kind of skip out around Nenai, and then thinking, actually when you like watching it, it was like, there's actually a bit of Queenslanders like around Luai here. Like we might be sweet at least on this tackle. But then you just fucking hit the afterburners and just fucking... you got 10 metres in like a second. I was like, where the fuck did Bradman come from?
Yeah, I nearly dropped it too, which I remember having a bobble and fumbled the ball, and I need to catch this here. And, I was lucky enough to get over.
Mate, so you score that try, but I mean, there's still so much work to do. And in that game, it looked like Queensland were going to come over the top for, I reckon it was like a 10-minute period. There was like, oh shit, Queensland might come back into this. But then obviously you get back down there, Moses goes through. When did you kind of realise, wow, we've created history here?
Yeah, after Moses scored, that sort of, we all sort of kicked in. But, obviously we had, I think there was it might have been 10 minutes left or something. But yeah, I think after that, that's when, I thought to myself, we've done it, we've got it in the bag. And it was just one of the best moments.
And you're whooping up and having a great time. What did Michael Maguire say to you in those dressing rooms after, all the boys at least?
Yeah, he was just over the moon. We spoke about all week, creating history and doing something this group moving forward, and he was just super proud of us. And he probably stemmed so much confidence and belief into us. He was unreal, Madge. And then obviously, I remember the night before, Romy really took upon, not having Cleary there and whatnot, all that talk about that. And, he really stood up, and Moe as well. Them two halves really stood up and delivered, I thought.
Yeah, mate, they were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. In the Origin series, who's someone that you game 3 that you played with that probably, we've got the stars that we all fans saw and played really well, but who was like an underrated player for you in that last game that you really felt played outstanding?
Oh,
I mean, pretty much everyone, to be honest.
Yeah, everyone. Obviously, for me during the week, Critter.
Yep.
Just being other centre and sort of leaning on him. He helped me. But there's also like Lomax who killed it all 3 games. Barney who come in and he was 18th man of the week the game before, and then Gussie got concussed early on, and Barney had to come in on his debut, and he killed it. I could name everyone.
Yeah.
Bizzer outside me, he helped me a lot as well. The work he does for the boys is crazy.
It's actually insane.
I don't know how he does it. He's off his head, but it was pretty mad. And I could name all the boys, but I thought everyone just did their job.
Who was biggest pest in camp? And when I say pest, I mean lovable pest. Someone that's actually, it's annoying, but in a lovable kind of way.
It'd have to be Bizzer, I reckon. Bizzer for sure. Yeah.
Just pranks all the time.
Yeah, just pranks all the time and just so chirpy, like just playing pranks and that. He's off his head.
Oh, that's so good. And so, in typical rugby league fashion, you're up the highest of highs. Like, you score one of the great tries in Origin and, history's made by you boys. And that same weekend, I'm pretty sure you do your other hammy. Mm-hmm. I guess walk us through the mental headspace you get. Because, that's one of the harder things about league. It's not necessarily... It's just a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah, so like highest of highs, I was on top of the moon and literally thought, this is the best ever. Like, how good is this? Rugby league, and then obviously get back to clubland, and it was hard because I knew I sort of had hammy issues, but I had KP and Gags who were backing up as well, so I didn't want to look like I was letting down the boys or anything like that. And obviously I want to be renowned for, helping the boys and putting the team first and being tough.
Yep.
But yeah, look, I knew I shouldn't have played. I didn't want to play because I knew something could happen, but I sort of just didn't want to let the boys down. And obviously body was real sore heading into we versed Broncos, and I think it was like 8 minutes in, just felt me hammy pop. Just felt it go, and that's when I knew it was. I just had so much regret and hated myself for it because I knew I shouldn't have played. But I just didn't want to let the boys down, and I was pretty filthy at myself. And I probably should have just spoke up and just had that voice and just said to the coach, "Nah, I'm not playing. I'm gonna put myself first because to help the team in the long run." Because ended up being out for 8 weeks, so sort of hurt that one.
Man, it's one of the hardest lessons to learn as a young fella. And we all go through it, and obviously you're far more achieved. You've achieved way more in your career than I ever have. But just that balance of not wanting to let the boys down, but understanding that you're actually letting them down by getting injured. And it's I went through the same thing with ribs, with hammies as well.
Everything.
And it's just, it's hard because sometimes when you do that, you get through the game sweet.
Yeah.
And you're all good, and you're like, yep, sweet. And then sometimes you do it and you fucking injure yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with managing pain and stuff too. I can play through injury and all that, but this one my hammy just went, and I remember the physio, it might just be a cramp. And then I told him, I said, no, let me get up and run it out. He said, no, you've done your hammy. I said, just give me a chance. And I remember, my hammy was no good, and the rest is it.
Sucks, bro. And then the next, the thing is see, then you're sitting there for 8 weeks. First of all, as I said, you're on this highest of highs. Then you're thinking, oh, what if I did this? What if I had done that? And then also you're watching the boys and you're like, they need me back out there because at that stage you were trying to make finals.
That's the worst. That's that's mentally the hardest thing, watching the boys, and you can help, but you can't help. So it sucks and it's hard, but they're the lessons you learn, and that's rugby league.
And it's one of those things where now going forward, just trust your instincts, I guess.
Exactly
just
right.
Go, you know what? I'm putting my hand up and I'm just going to pull myself out of this game.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's definitely what I'll be doing from now on.
Yeah. Man, just crazy year, I guess. Mate, what about as a young fella? Was it always rugby league for you, or you love to play multiple sports? Because I know that you do a bit of boxing. You enjoy a bit of boxing.
Yeah, love a bit of boxing. As a young fella, just did everything. Everything that involves sports. Literally everything. And then started off playing soccer, and my old boy played rugby league, and I remember coming home one day and he said, "Mate, when are you going to stop playing this sport and play that sport?" And I remember going, "Yeah, all right." So then, played rugby league and, loved it ever since. And obviously my old boy was my idol, so that's why I made the switch and loved it ever since. But obviously now, love my boxing. I got a lot of respect for the sport. So rugby league and boxing is probably my favourite too.
At the moment, wow. So now, would you ever consider jumping in the ring?
Yeah, I would. Obviously it's a pretty ballsy thing. I think it's one of the most scariest. Well, I think it is the scariest sport in the world. To jump in that ring and get hit in the face and go to war. So I think I would. I'd like to. I've done a bit of training here and there, and I love the sport. And I think to be a man, I think I want to experience it once.
Yeah, man, it's definitely one of those bucket list things. That's for sure.
For sure.
But as a young, so what age were you when your old man said, "You know what, give league a try"? How old were you reckon?
Yeah, I was 10.
10,
I was 10 years old. I remember making the switch over, and just loved it ever since. I remember obviously it's pretty good, and mum and dad I was lucky I had some good genes, and loved it ever since. And I was lucky enough to make my way up the junior ranks and stuff like that, make some rep teams, and moved to Newcastle when I was 17, and just I guess it went from there.
So your juniors team was the Woi Woi Roosters?
Yeah, Woi Woi Roosters, yeah. So still go back there and try help out when I can and give a bit back. That's where it all started for me, and they're struggling now that they don't really get many teams in, but that's where it all started, and that's where the dream started.
Yeah. So growing up out there, I guess when you did start playing league, I'm assuming it was like it's kind of two pathways. Like some people just from a very young age are like, I'm going to play sport. I don't know what it's going to be. It's just sport is my life. And other people, it's more like I just love playing with my mates and hanging around. What was it for you?
Yeah, mine was, this is my way out and put all my eggs in one basket. I remember I was lucky enough, like when I was in year 9 and year 10, the Knights were giving me a day off to jump on the train and go and train with first grade. So
no way.
Yeah, so I remember
year 9 and 10.
Yeah, I remember leaving school days, and Rory Cross Jason used to message me saying, "Hey mate, you're going to come train tomorrow with NRL." And I was like, "Sweet, I get a day off school." And I hated school, so I knew from a young age that this is what I wanted to do, and I was going to make sure I made it work. And I never had no plan B. Obviously, I do now. Like, obviously, I think of life after footy, but when I was younger, it was just eggs in one basket and go hell for leather.
It's a weird balance, isn't it? Because like you almost need that mentality to be able to eventually make NRL.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you don't have that mentality, unfortunately, the guys you compete against do have that mentality.
Exactly
where
right.
It's like all or nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you want to be smart about it, and there are a lot of kids that don't make it. So it's a really tough balance.
Yeah, it's tough.
So in regards to the Newey Knights, were they who you supported growing up, or did you support a different side?
No, I went for Manly.
Manly?
I grew up, old boy. So I was born in Manly because at the time he was down there. I think he was trying to crack, or he might have played a few games. But so I grew up supporting Manly, brainwashed into Manly. My family still love Manly. So born there, and then moved my way down to Central Coast. But obviously, I remember when I first was cracking the game, like New South Wales Cup and stuff like that, and the boys from back home were like, "So when you versus Manly, who do you go for?" I play for Knights. Like, I'm not going for them. I'm going for me. We're winning. So I was always a Manly boy growing up, but I was quick to move to Newcastle.
And so your old man, did he move down to Woi Woi to play footy, like locally there, or what?
So I think they moved there. I think Sydney was getting too expensive, and they moved down to the Central Coast, and Woi Woi Roosters he played for. First grade, I'm pretty sure they had a pretty good side back in the day. He won a few comps there, and that's how I ended up there.
And see, the local league back then used to be gun.
Crazy. He was versing. So we have a rivalry with Yamina Bunnies.
Yep.
We were literally next door neighbours, and Cliffy Lyons was playing for Yamina and stuff like that.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Some of the people you hear playing for the local teams.
Far out. Okay, so I guess when did it sounds like the Knights approached you like super young. How old were you when they first approached you?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, wow.
So I remember the one year we made our grand final, us Woy lads, was the year, the selectors were at this grand final, and, I was lucky enough. We lost, but, I played all right, and ever since then they sort of they scouted me, and I remember I'm reaching out to my mum and stuff like that, and yeah, it just went from there. I think there was a few clubs back then. I think the Roosters were keen and a few others, but I think, we just went with the Knights. I think it was a bit closer for mum and dad, a bit easier. So.
Yeah. And so the Knights kind of get you in the system and that. I guess at that point, because you get scouted so young, like it truly is in your head like professional sport, like locked in kind of thing. Was that a weird kind of feeling going through school like that?
Yeah, it was real weird because I had all the boys like, not understanding. From a young age, I remember like I was training, doing this, doing that, on the train up to Newcastle, and they were like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was like, "Bro, this is what I want to do." Like, but yeah, they all sort of knew that I was, that I had potential, and they knew I was going to be pretty good. But yeah, it was from a young age that, when I was in them systems, they used to call it HPU, it was like high performance unit.
Yeah, okay.
And I remember they were saying, like, Troy Pezzett at the time, who scouted me, he was like, "Mate, you're the youngest one here, so you got potential. It's pretty special. You're here." And I remember just like, I don't want to waste this, and I want to just go hell for leather, and obviously make mum and dad proud. And I remember, I think I might have been 15 or 14, 15 when I got like my first sort of contract. It was like $5,000. I remember, I just said to mum and dad, like, this is for you guys, and I think they just put it towards my schooling fees or something like that. But I remember it just felt so good. Yeah.
As a 14, 15-year-old kid, to be able to give your mum and dad that money, you would have felt like a king.
Yeah, it felt unreal, and I remember just going, like, obviously haven't made it, but I'm in the right direction doing that. So ever since then, from a young age, I just wanted to make it.
And did you always kind of do extra training and do the extra weights, or did that something that kind of came a bit later on in your like as a teenager?
No, I always did it from a young age. I think I watched my dad work 7 days a week, and he's a concreter, so I knew how tough he had it. And mum was the same; she was working 6 days a week. So I remember there used to be growing up days of footy where I was helping dad pour concrete. And I was like, "Dad, I need to go play footy. Like, you're going to take me?" He's like, "Mate, I can't." So I remember mum have to race me, pick me up, go take me to the game on a weekend. So I remember, I used to skip school. I used to jump the fence and go to the local gym. So I remember always loving training or kicking the footy, or, I'd do any sort of sprint training or anything that I thought that could make me better. I just tried to do everything I could to make it pay off.
So when you say you put all your eggs in one basket, you're genuinely saying like you were willing to skip school to train for rugby league.
Yeah, like I was skipping school to go train, to jump in the gym, just to do things.
What was the local gym saying to you when they saw this 15-year-old walking in, 14-year-old, like during school hours? They just like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, well, because I obviously looked a bit older. Yeah, I was lucky enough they never questioned me.
No way.
But I did have a gym membership there, so that also helped. But I remember them just looking at me like, kid, like. But I just loved training, whether it was the gym or running or kicking a footy, whatever it was. I just always involved in sport.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. So you start at 15, kind of 16. Did you make? Obviously, you made the under 16 New South Wales side, and then the 18s as well.
Yep. Was lucky enough. We had a pretty good side. Our 16s Origin side. We had the likes of Hopewade, Bud Sullivan, the Fagai twins. We had a stack side, and we're lucky enough to win that. We won that. Back then that we were like the curtain raiser for the big boys.
Yeah, so good.
We got to play in front of them, and I remember us winning. And
that try that you scored at Suncorp.
Yeah.
Man, walk us through that try. That was one of the craziest tries you ever see.
Yeah, crazy. So it was like 16-all with like 2 minutes left, and Queensland went to kick a field goal from 40 out, just missed. And I remember the ball was bouncing in the in goal, and Hopper was fullback, and he sort of was late to get the ball. He reacted late, and then he was a freak back then. Like, he was probably the best in our age. and he's got the ball and he's skipped around, fended off, beat 3, 4, 5 defenders, and I was just that sort of right place, right time, and I've run up beside him, and he's drawing past the fullback, and I think I ran like 60, 70 meters to win the game for us. But that was just another crazy moment, and we won
Suncorp
the
again
game.
too.
Yeah, Suncorp.
Down that same side as well.
Yeah,
Obviously the opposite side,
but it was Suncorp. It's a special place.
Far out. Yeah, opposite direction. Sorry, because
Yep.
it was in the left corner. Yeah, and there's object, but just crazy try. And as a young fella, like you just fuck, you must have been buzzing after.
Yeah, I was buzzing. I remember, my phone blowing up.
Yep.
And, everyone ringing me, messaging me, going, bro, this is going viral.
Yep.
So it was crazy as a little kid.
All right. Was that your first experience with a try going viral on social media and that?
Yeah, that was first experience, and it went viral.
That is something that, like at my generation coming through, like we never experienced. Like if you're a young fella now, before first grade, you can almost be known to a degree. Whereas back then, you were just known to rugby league people, not really to a wider audience. Like Kalen Ponga, before he came into first grade, like he was already known before he got
crazy.
to first grade.
Yeah, his highlights on that.
Oh, bro, insane.
Got 3.5 million views.
That try? Far out. And that's just on one. That's just on what? Basically on
It's on
Insta.
one post. Yeah.
On
I'm
Insta.
gonna say I don't lie. 3.5 million. On
3.5 million on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that doesn't even include all the different versions of it on TikTok, on Instagram. That's crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
Okay, so what about dealing with, because you were in the system at such a young age and then you were training with first grade as well, what about dealing with the pressure of people going, just almost expecting you to, you almost expect you to be the best of your age group every single year? Were you just like naively taking it on board as a young fella, or did at some points you kind of go like, hang on a second, I'm just a teenager still?
I definitely did just sort of, take it on board because, everywhere I went, it was sort of like that. Oh, this kid's the best in his age, and, I sort of just got used to it. But, I think when I first cracked the NRL and, injuries started to come about, I sort of start second guessing that. And, I think the support system in my circle that I had, I guess I'm very grateful and lucky for, because if it wasn't for them, you sort of you can go down some paths that you don't want to, and definitely some dark days. But I've always loved the I guess the pressure and the journey, the process. I don't love, but when you get injured, you get to sort of rebuild yourself, and you find a lot about yourself. So I think I'm at a place where I know who I am and what I'm capable of, and I'm grateful for the game and what it's brought.
Yeah, it's funny. It's actually, you make a good point. It's you probably wouldn't feel that pressure until you get to first grade, and when you get, when you did get injured, then the articles start like, oh, young gun, will he ever feel his potential? And you're kind of like, hang on a sec, like I'm 20 years old, I've got so many years left in my career. Okay, so at what age did you start training full time with the first grade squad? 17?
17, yeah.
And do you remember your first full preseason?
Yep, I got sort of the first half. I remember I had to go in early and train with another lad because I was going on Aussie Schoolboys.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like broken up. I got to train with the boys, and then I got to go off, and then when I come back, because we went to England for Schoolboys, it was freezing. Come back, and I was still a little kid. I remember it was so hot, and I was getting flogged. I was going far out, but I loved it and loved turning up every day with the boys. And at the time, I had like Heimel Hunt and Tau Moga, who sort of the OBs at the time, sort of paved the way, and the older lads like Barney and Clem, they sort of paved the way, and Piercy as well. It was a mad crew that I got to come up and see, and I loved it.
And so what did you notice the most about your first preseason? Because that first grade intensity, like, it's very, very different to juniors and that.
Just, you got to turn up every day.
Every day, yeah.
Every single day. You got to do the little things right. I remember I used to just eat whatever and sort of just, as a young kid, just think this is the best ever. You get flogged, but, we're getting paid for it. We get a midweek day off, because you need it for the body, and down at the beach just cruising. But yeah, I loved it, and then obviously I sort of wanted to play, and obviously I training got harder, but you sort of get used to it, you get better, and the drive to just be the best version of myself every day sort of kicked in, and I enjoyed getting through the pain and the hard stuff of training.
And which player do you reckon you like the most off in regards to like setting standards and training really hard?
I think like Mitchell Pearce was the ultimate competitor on the field. Trained hard. Was always cruisy off the field. But so were all the boys. Like they love training hard. You want to rip in. But yeah, I don't know. I think Connor Watson as well. I spent a bit of time in rehab with him. We're always pushing each other to be better, be the fittest. But yeah, there's heaps of people that I could name. But probably them two probably stand out the most.
And so you obviously get into the first grade kind of system. You re-sign a 4-year deal before you played first grade in 2018.
Yeah.
And I guess, was that just like an automatic thing in regards to like you definitely wanted to stay at Newey, or was other people interested? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, there were other teams interested, but I think I just wanted to be loyal to them. They sort of found me and found me a home at Newcastle, so I guess I just wanted to repay them back. And
4-year deal, bro. That's insane. You were 17 at that age.
Yeah, crazy when it all sort of happened. It sort of happened quick, and I remember, mum and dad was sort of like, well, if this is what you want to do and you're happy, then sign it. And yeah, it just sort of happened so quick. And as a young fella, I just was over the moon. I was like, well, this is what I've always sort of dreamt of, so let's get it done. And yeah, I remember just signing it, and I was happy as.
4 years, you would have been like 17 years old.
Yeah, young.
It's 4-year deal. I mean, that is like essentially unheard of. Like, I think only recently, Howarth might have signed a 4 or 5 year deal before he played first grade. Doesn't happen often. Very rarely. Okay, so you make your debut though in 2019.
Yep.
Do you remember the phone call, how it all come about in that?
Yeah, so I remember I just played, might have been under 20s. We versed Manly and played a pretty good game. And then I remember watching the older boys, they lost. And I remember we went into training the next week, and Clem, a few of the boys at SAS were like, you might play, and Tao had sort of like a hamstring niggle, and we finished the team meeting, and after it, Brownie said, oh, Bradman, can you just jump into my office after? I was like, oh, yeah. I was thinking, fuck, what have I done? Like, I don't know what I've done here. And I stepped in there, and he said, oh, you'll be right to play this week? I said, yeah, all good. And he goes, yeah, you're going to play first grade? And I was like, oh, yeah? And he said, yeah. He goes, you're in. And he said, oh, I've already spoke, because he knew my old man from back in the day. He said, I've already spoken to your old man. He said, it's all good. And I was like, yeah, sweet. And then I remember hopping out, and Clem was like, so you in? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, go tell your mum and dad, like, it's the best day of your life. And yeah, I remember telling mum and dad, and told mum first, and she had tears of joy. She was happy as. And then I told dad, and he just said, yep, I know. It was unreal getting that call to obviously, live out a childhood dream.
Yep. And what do you remember from the debut? Like, you're sitting in the dressing room going, oh my God, like 18 years old.
Yeah, I remember just going, can't believe this is happening. I remember day before, because we versed the Tigers in Campbelltown, or it might have been Leichhardt. And we're in the, we're going to recovery. We just got to Sydney, and I remember we were heading there, and there's about 8 of us in this elevator, and it got stuck. It got locked. No. So we're all in this elevator day before my game, got locked. We're in there for an hour. The boys are sweating, starting freaking out. I started freaking out a bit myself. But, it was unreal lead up to the week, and obviously playing, just running out there, for the first time. It was like just had so much smiles and emotions going through me. And, I just knew that this is what I wanted to do, and all the hard work sort of paid off. But, we got flogged. The game didn't go as planned, I think we got touched up, but, I still loved it.
Yep. And do you remember anything specifically from the game for you, like individually?
I remember, obviously as a kid, I was sort of gifted and had natural genes, but I remember obviously my first running into men.
Yeah.
I was like, I just got smacked. Just got hit by a brick wall, and I was like, this is.
And I'm assuming like you'd grown up. Usually, you win that contact. In the junior grades, you win the contact every time, kind of thing.
Yeah. So it was like my first run, and I was thinking I'd get my nose through here, and just got smacked straight back, rolled over on my back. I was like, okay, I got some work to do here, but I loved it. It was obviously unreal.
Man, just that debut, and before the debut, you're always saying to yourself, just one, and then after that, you're like, I can't get out, I can't leave.
Stop,
Mate, we've got this next segment brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. We need to ask you, mate, what makes you grumpy, and what turns your frown upside down?
What makes me grumpy? I'm a pretty kickback person, but I hate being late.
Okay.
Or people that are late, so that can tend to make me annoyed.
Okay.
But what turns it upside down? Pretty easy going. Like, I love music. That could change me. My got two dogs.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a pretty easy person. But
what kind of music?
Hip hop, R&B, a bit of Drake. J. Cole, 50 Cent.
I've seen a bit of, is it Gabba hacking? I've seen some hacking, mate.
Back in the day.
Come on, bro.
Back in the day, me thinking I'm a little eshay, little lad. So that used to happen back in the day, Not anymore. But
that's the best. Okay, so you make your debut, and then how many games did you play that year?
So 2019, I played 3.
Yep. You scored your first try against the Titans?
Yeah, my second game, back at McDonald Jones at the home stadium there, and that was mad, obviously. First try, and, the boys got around me, and that was mad. So, 3 games that year.
And so the next year, I guess you make those first 3 games, and you're not necessarily a first grader because you've only played 3 or 4 games, but at the same time, like, it is that next little step when you're back at training. It's like you're no longer just like the new rookie guy that can kind of rock up and just make up the numbers. Like, you're like, no, mate, you're here to first of all, you're here to get a position in the first grade side, but also you're here to be a first grader now, rather than just a rookie and we'll see how you go. Did you notice that in the next preseason at all? Yeah,
that was the year I wanted to cement myself as, that left centre at the club. And I remember having a come back in, good nick and good shape ready to rip and tear that year. And, obviously had a good preseason. And, I remember, trials in round 1 and that sort of stuff come around. And, I was lucky enough to sort of, get that spot. And, that's sort of when I realised that second year that, I'm not here to just, be a number or be in a, on the edge sort of fringe player, but where I can play, reserve grade, and then if need to be, come into the grade. But, that was the year I wanted to cement myself.
Yep. And just reading here in Wiki there, round 3, it says, best failed to provide an assist to teammate Edric Lee in the final stages of the match. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
They write all the bad stuff down. They write the good stuff.
It was against Penrith. We crawled back to, it was like 14 all, and I remember it was in an extra time. I think we had like Connor going off injured. We were hurting. We had nothing, but we held on and we kept fighting that year and that game. And I remember literally Tex went to snap a field goal. He dummied. He's come over to me, hit me. It's a 2-on-1. And I blew it. And I was filthy. I hated myself ever since. Still remember it. Still plays on my mind. But, I'm lucky I didn't win off it or anything like that. It was just, I missed opportunity. But
it says you said you went and practiced that. You and Lee practiced it quite a bit, and then you ended up scoring a couple of tries and a try assist a few weeks later or something like that.
Yeah. So, obviously, after that, I said, bro, we can't make that happen again. And he said, no, let's practice. And, it's literally just a draw and pass. Every centre winger does it. And something that it's easy, but, in big moments can be hard. And I guess, it's something I don't want to do again. Yep. So, just practice.
The thing is, don't get me wrong, it is easy. Like, that the passing mechanic of drawing someone and passing. But at the same time, if you throw the ball and they intercept it,
Yeah.
Like, it is a lot more going on than simply drawing a person.
Yeah,
like
it is.
it's you should nail this part of your job. That's why you're an NRL player.
Yeah,
You're good
exactly
at doing
right.
that. However, it's not as easy as people think. In my opinion, anyway.
Exactly right.
I'm
yeah.
a winger, so maybe I don't know, because you just, there's so many, like, as I said, if you throw the dummy and get tackled, obviously you're in trouble. If you throw the pass and it gets intercepted or knocked down, you get in trouble. There's just like so many different like decisions you have to make in a very short amount of time. And also, like, wingers and fullbacks are really good at making it hard to make that decision, where they kind of square you up a little bit and then they dive their hand out and that. So anyway, so you learn that you score some tries after. I think it was against Canberra.
That's when it's all sort of started paying off.
Yep.
A little catch pass, little practice. So
and so that season, 2020, how would you rate that season for you personally?
I think it was sort of my breakout year, I guess. I sort of found out more about who I was. I think I had injuries in that year as well, but I think 2020 was first year we got to play finals as well, which was unreal, obviously, to experience that. And I guess sort of I knew who I was and what I was about, as a 9-year-old kid. So I was lucky enough to cement that spot, and it was a good year.
And so 2021, that's like you had a couple injuries in 21.
Yeah.
And this is kind of when there was a couple of years where I'm assuming it started to get like, oh shit, like, I started my career so well. Everyone's, wrapping me up and I've got all this praise and I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. And, Joey's talking about Origin and then all of a sudden it's like, I just want to get on the field.
Yeah.
What was it like for you at that period?
Yeah, it was sort of, my body was sort of breaking down, and I remember, questioning myself and, is my body going to be able to do this as a career and stuff like that? And I remember going to so much physio, rehab, and outsourcing my own sort of people that everyone sort of says, oh, they're gurus here, gurus there, and all I wanted to do was just play footy. I miss that feeling of running out there with the boys and just doing what I loved as a kid. It sort of not turned into a chore, but it was like just tough, just hard, and. Not how I had it planned out to be, but
and it's something that like you can't control.
You can't control it.
You train as hard as you can do everything right, and you're going to get injured sometimes.
I'm always give everything 100%. Every little thing, gym, rehab, physio, everything. And you just some things you can't control, and that's probably what I learned. You just. Can control the things you can control, and what is meant to be will be.
And when do you reckon it got the worst for you, where you read a headline here or there saying, oh, Bradman Best's probably not going to live up to potential, or maybe a comment, like when do you reckon it got the worst for you?
I sort of let it go, all the media and that talk. I sort of got used to all that, but it's probably myself. It was 2022. I did my elbow. And, I was just having a bad year, and, I was just sort of questioning myself. And I remember getting in a bit of trouble with the club. I was starting to – I missed the bus to the airport and stuff, and I got stood down and stuff like that. And, I remember literally after that, I remember going home, looking in the mirror and said, I had to sort of fix that year, and that was all on me. And I remember after that, I come back in – real good nick for the 2023 season, and then I think that's when I sort of, I guess, realised that you obviously have to just it's all on me. It's on me to get me where I want to be and what I want to do. So
And so do you reckon the bus situation almost like was a culmination of everything, where it was like that line in the sand where you're like, you know what, it's been a tough couple of years, but it's up to you. You can sit there and point fingers as much as you want, but it's up to you to change this kind of thing. Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. It was, everything sort of just come into one. And I remember, looking at myself and said, I need to be better, and I know what I'm capable of. And, it's up to me to sort of realise that. And, I think I took self accountability for that. And, I think I've been on uphill ever since.
Yeah, and so 2022 rolls around. 2023, you score a hat trick in a 66-0 win over Canterbury, and the next day you get selected for Origin.
Yeah,
I guess what a reward for just digging in and working hard and getting the job done that year for you.
Yeah, that's literally all it was. I remember, if you work hard, things come back and repay you. And
It's funny, how like you're not doing that much different, but it's just those tiny
just the
little
things.
1%ers,
Yeah. It's literally just the little 1%ers, because everything I do, like from start of my career to now, I've always given 100%. It's just a little thing off field, or might be not going to grab a coffee with the boys. I'm just going to go stretch, or just sacrifice one little thing, no matter what can be. And extra little physio session or gym session here and there can go a long way. And 2023 was just an unreal year. I got to I think I played my best footy. I think I played 25 games, which I hadn't played over 20 games in a year ever. So 2023 was my best year, and I was lucky enough to cap it off to put the sky blue jersey on.
And so, do you remember getting the call and how that all happened?
I remember we're on our way home on the bus after we beat Canterbury, and Adzi, the coach, said, I think you might be a chance to get in the call. I said, whatever, and
So it come out of nowhere for you?
Yeah, it come out of nowhere.
Yeah, wow.
I just didn't believe it. Didn't think it'd happen. And then remember I had a missed call that night. Didn't answer it. I don't answer unknown numbers. I just never do. I remember the next morning, same number rang, didn't answer it. Then it rang a third time, and I was in the car, and I was like, I'll just answer it. Like, why does this number keep ringing me? And he said, Bradman. I said, hello. And he said, it's Freddie. And I was like, oh, sorry. He said, I'm ringing you. I said, yeah, sorry, what's up? He said, you ready? I said, yeah. He goes, well, I'm picking you game 3. And I said, yeah, I'm ready. I can't wait. And, that was obviously unreal. I told my family, and same thing, they cried with joy, happy tears, and, it was unreal.
And, I mean, talk about a big week for you, because you made some very fun comments that I really enjoy. Even as a Queenslander, I loved it. That's what Origin was all about. But walk us through, how did those comments come about? Do you remember the interview? And obviously let the people know what the comments were.
I do. I do remember the interview and the comments. And, well, it's funny because my dad was born, raised Queenslander. So he's a Queenslander. We always had a rivalry at home, and he tried to brainwash me into going for Queensland since young. And, I remember just watching as a little kid. I used to hate him, and I'll be throwing punches at Dad when I was a young kid, because I come up when Queensland just always won. And, I hated it. So used to go to school and, hated it. And then, I remember obviously getting the call, and I was doing this interview, and they said, what do you think of Queensland? And I just said, I hate them. Sort of caused a bit of headlines there. And
just a little bit?
Yeah, just saying, I was just at the time just speaking passionate how much New South means to me. And obviously growing up, never really liked Queensland as such. And wasn't that I didn't like them, it was just, I didn't like them when New South Wales were versing them and stuff like that. But sort of made a fair bit of a headline out of that. And to be fair, I don't regret it, but I never really talk like that, so it sort of surprised me when it come out. And Mum and Dad were like, usually, why are you talking? Like, you better back it up now. I remember going, I better, and lucky enough we won. So
because the thing is that when it gets put on print, like a headline,
they make it so much worse.
Yeah, it's interpreted very different to when the tone of the actual conversation.
Yeah.
So you're probably just saying, I hate Queensland. You're not saying as if I'm so tough, I'm going to fight everyone. But it does look like that. If you're a Queenslander, you're like, fuck this guy. But bro, I loved it. I thought it was exactly what Origin needed.
Yeah, sweet.
Did that add to the pressure for your debut at all, or did you just block that out?
No, I just blocked it out.
Yeah.
I remember, just that whole week, just enjoying it, soaking it up. And, well, to be fair, there was really no pressure because Queensland already won 2-0, and I sort of come in. But I remember the night, the first day in camp, when we were all having a few drinks, and Teddy James Tedesco sort of said, "It's an opportunity for you," and I was like, "Yeah." He said, he goes, "When I first started my Origin career, he goes, I had the same thing, dead rubber. I come in on a 30. He goes, I played well, and I've been here ever since." And sort of stood out to me, that it's opportunity for me to sort of do the same, and I put my best foot forward. Yeah,
and I mean, what a career Teddy had in Origin, unbelievable. I mean, you look at you look at that period where you had back to back, just every game he played. There was like maybe one or two towards the end where not his best performance, but outside of that, literally every game he played was one of the best on the field.
Freak.
Unbelievable. Yeah, back-to-back Brad Fittler medals, like just
crazy.
And so, like, I know, the last couple of games weren't the best to his standard, but that's like his whole career, though, at least an 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10 every single game. So
100%.
good.
He's a freak.
And did you, in that first camp, that would have been your first experience with just that level?
Yeah,
of
it
just
was.
Like, wow.
Yeah, it was, it took me back. Like, I remember just sitting back in my seat and going, wow, like, it's all so new to me, and seeing all these, like, older boys that are playing and that are such freaks, and I was like, wow, like I was pretty quiet, like stayed in my shell a bit. I was just sort of soaking it in. I sort of didn't find my voice, but after that game, I felt like I belonged in that arena, and always knew I belonged, but I just proved to everyone that I did belong there after that game.
Yep. And so that debut, what do you remember did you remember anything from before you ran out, like with the sky blue jersey on, or what was it like?
Yeah, I remember. I was lucky I had JSAF in camp, who I'm pretty close with, and I remember. So obviously, he was in front of me when we were walking down the tunnel and running out. And I remember there was like a 5-minute wait. We were just waiting in this tunnel in the nerves, and we sort of. He turned around, and I turned around, he looked at me, and we just looked at each other, put like our headbutts together, and we just looked at each other, and we said, "Yeah, let's go, we're ready." And that was it just made me so G'd up, and I was just ready to go, and it was just the best feeling running out to 70-odd thousand, and obviously winning. It couldn't have went any better.
Oh mate, so good. And you scored 2 meaties.
Yeah.
When you go for your first one, are you just going?
I couldn't believe. Well, there was an early one where I scored, but I was offside from Marto's foot. I remember it was 2 minutes in, and it was early. I remember the boys coming up and going, "Did you score it?" I said, "Well, I think so, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on." And I remember I got taken back, but I remember obviously the game panned out and scoring 2 meaties, and I remember Foxy scoring his try, tipping him the ball, and he was chipping and chasing and that, and it was crazy. It was everything I could have imagined.
And I guess that you're just sitting there going like, grew up watching this on TV every year, and now you're in it. You're actually experiencing it. It's just a wig out.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle of rugby league. Everything as a little kid I dreamed of is obviously to play on RL, and then the pinnacle to play for New South Wales and put the green and gold jersey on. But to actually be doing that and living out my dream, it was crazy.
And so it got even better for you. So obviously you play really well, but then also you boys, you go on a massive run. KP, what was it like playing outside KP that year?
Oh, he's a freak. He's just I don't even know how to put him into words, but he's very competitive, dedicated to his craft and to his skill. When we went on that run, it was just like, where's KP? Just
get in the ball,
start backing up, like the hookers and halves just start supporting through the middle, because KP is going to do something magic here. And it was pretty special going on that run, and that year was it was pretty special. And
so this is when you started getting crazy crowds. Newey's always been really good, even at the lowest of lows. Yeah. But I mean, this was different experience.
Crazy.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
Every week when we were playing there, it was sold out, packed, and we were loving it. We sort of, we sort of made a pact that we weren't going to lose at home. And I remember, I think we only lost one. It was to Penrith earlier, and that went into extra time. And that year was pretty special. Obviously going on a run and winning how we did, and having that home semi-final against Raiders where that crowd was crazy as well.
Oh, bro, what a game.
It was, it was off its head. It's pretty special to be a part of, and us players, we probably take for granted the crowds and stuff we get, but it's pretty special looking back and seeing how proud.
And that Newey game, what was that like for you? Sorry, not the Newey game, the New Zealand game.
Yeah,
that was wild.
That was wild over there. We backs against the wall, and we did get dished, but it was mad heading over there and just experience their culture, their fans, and it's mad. It's all part of the journey. Yeah.
Oh man, that year when Newey and the Warriors were going so well, it was just obviously I'm a Broncos fan, but it's just a footy fan to see that, just incredible. What's the best fan sign you've seen about yourself? You've gone, well, that's actually pretty bloody good.
Yeah, I've had a few. There's always like
Like simply the best.
yeah,
or like,
simply the best. Bradman, you're our best. Yeah, there's a few out there.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, that last game, I guess. Do you look back on that year and go, oh shit, we actually had a bit of an opportunity there to maybe get to a prelim, or how do you kind of measure that year?
Yeah, well, obviously you don't want to focus too much on the past, but when we spoke about that year, and we literally said we're one game off a prelim, like that. Them opportunities don't come around too often, and I think that weekend in NZ, I don't know what sort of happened, but we sort of fell off. We sort of probably got stuck in the, this is the deepest we've all gone into semis, and we sort of got stuck into that. And I remember we just started terrible, and New Zealand were firing that year, and we just never got into our rhythm and our style of the game, and sort of hurt. We're that close, but you have to, when it's finals footy, you got to be playing your best every game, and yeah.
And so this, I don't know, was it this year or last year, but like I think it might have been even last year for a period. There was like talks about you potentially leaving the club, and there was other interest, and what happened with what was going on with that? Because it was very weird.
Yeah. So obviously I sort of just wanted to explore my options, and the club were keen on re-signing me, but at the time I just wanted to see what was out there. I thought I've been here a long time, and I think I see a few people that have, I was talking to Barney, and, he said it's always good to, obviously explore your options and stuff like that. And, so I remember just speaking to, my manager and mum and dad, and just saying, obviously I love the club and what they've done for me, but just see what's out there for me, and just sort of explore that. Deep down, I don't think I ever wanted to leave Nui. I think, after what we built and what we did last year, I sort of wanted to build on that and stay. And I think it all got, there was talks everywhere, was, got a bit blown out of proportion, but, I think at the end I chose to stay with Nui and wanted to be not loyal. I know it's I did want to be loyal. It's, it's a club that I love, and a club that they've done so much for me. And, but yeah, at the end of the day, I just wanted to see what was out there for me and explore if any other teams were keen, and I had a fair bit of interest from other teams and stuff like that, and and I ended up staying.
And what do you reckon? Like, because these talks happened I think it was early 23, and it wasn't until 24, I think, that she didn't really sign until 27. What do you reckon took the length of time? Or did you just kind of keep planting it and go, look, I just want to focus on footy kind of thing?
Yeah, I did want to focus on footy. I just didn't really want to let it all, affect that. But, like I said, I did want to explore my options and see what was best out there. It was never the money side of thing, because I think, I know I'm young, but I'm not really chasing money. I'm chasing, I want to leave a legacy wherever I go, and I want to sort of, be the best version of myself, and be a great centre. So it was more just exploring options and seeing what was out there, and obviously you want to win and win footy games, and it just took its time, and it panned out. But I'm happy now. I'm happy I stayed.
Did the fact that KP has developed into such an incredible leader, did that have a lot to do with I mean, I don't know for you personally, but for me, when I was always re-signing, I was kind of looking around and going, okay, who's our main guys?
Definitely. I think definitely that's why I wanted to stay. I think the players we had, the older boys, like KP, Gags, JSAF, Frizz, all the older boys that play a part in your life. Adzi Elliott, all them boys, they're the ones that you lean on. Training on the field, off the field, so that's probably a big reason why I stayed.
And with a guy like Dan Gagai, which is an absolute legend of a bloke,
the best.
What do you reckon you learned the most from him being as a centre? That he's been playing centre for so long now. We all know Origin Gags, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just the competitor he is, his mentality. he don't shy away from no challenge. And, when we get to train, like when we're opposing at edge v edge and stuff like that, we give each other this look where it's like, righto, you're going to do me up, I'm going to do you up.
Yep.
And that's just trying to literally beat each other and put each other on a highlight reel. But, the respect's always been there, and that's what I love with, me and Gags. His willingness to help.
Yep.
He's helped me a lot. And he's actually real smart, like the way he thinks and talks. And, when he talks, everyone listens.
Yep.
But, yeah, from Gags, I've learned a lot.
And heading into this new season, what part of your game do you think you're going to focus on the most to improve?
I think I want to get better everywhere. I think my work off the ball, whether it's attack and defence, I can be better. I think my vision, trying to have a look for the game in another set of eyes. And I'm sometimes fixated on so much on just doing a centre's role, but maybe helping out the half and the fullback, helping K out. Just little things I think that can benefit my game. And obviously defence, defence as a centre is so hard, so you can never get better at that. So obviously I want to improve my defence.
Yeah, it is really one of those things where you can never be perfect. Centre is such a tough position defensively,
so hard,
that you could be the best in the game at it and still have so much to learn about it.
So much to learn,
yeah. It's man, I cannot wait. So outside of footy, what hobbies do you have outside of footy?
So I've got 2 businesses.
Yeah, wow.
They're sort of my hobbies. So I'll give a little plug. Shout out to That's Us Painting and Family Ties Gillier. So I've got a villa over in Bali.
Yep.
And
Actually, walk us through that.
Oh yeah, a bit of drama there as well.
A bit of dramas there. So you went over to Bali.
Yeah.
And so when look, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. When they said Bradman went over for work purposes, I said, I don't know how much I believe that, but you actually do have a villa over there.
Yeah. So when I went over there, so I think it was 2023 or 22, I don't know when it was. 23? Yeah, so we just got pumped by Para. And it was our first buy in, I think, 12 weeks. And I remember early in the preseason, coach said, well, this is our first buy. Everyone do what you want. We're not training that week. You just can go holidays, rah. I was like, sweet as, I love Bali. So I was like, rang up my best mate, who I've got the villa with and painting business with. I said, bro, I got this buy. I was like, let's go over there. He's like, yeah, sweet. So anyway, we just got dished by Para. And I remember all the boys were like, what are you doing? And they were like, no, we're all sort of filthy that we lost.
Yeah.
And I was not carrying on, but I was like, well, I'm off the Bali boys. Like, come on, I know we lost.
But I booked this in ages
ago. It sucked,
ago.
but I've had this plan for ages. And anyway, a few boys end up going away, like Byron or bits and pieces. But I was the only one that went over to Bali, 6-hour flight. And I remember going there. And 2 days in, I remember just causing headlines like, Bradman Mask going to Bali, rah, rah, like, what's he doing? Why is he playing this sport if he wants to go on a party, holiday, rah, rah. But anyway, I literally went there. So when I was there, I was literally finding out on, how to buy a villa and stuff like that. And I was looking into that. And then this young lad that's over there that, since I've been going since I was 19, he was building this, he was helping his family build a village. So I was over there just giving back and giving him and his family some money and stuff like that so they could build it. And but yeah, I literally didn't go over there to party. I was literally there sorting out business and looking into buying a villa. So it's pretty funny now looking back how everyone thought that, and I would too. Like, why would a young kid just go over there and to mid season? So it was funny. Pretty funny. Yeah.
And I don't think this was on this trip, but my sources tell me that you got a tat on one of your trips, and on the way back it got infected or something like that.
Yeah, walk
us through this story.
This was with the boys. So this was it was like me, KP,
oh my god,
Tex, Chris Randall, heaps of us. I think there was about 8 of us, and I remember we had 2 days left, and I was like, I'm getting a leg tat. I'll need it. Like, I've been wanting it for ages. So I remember getting the first front half of my leg done. And the boys were like, oh, it's our second last night. Like, you coming out? I was like, yeah, I'll come out for a few drinks. Ended up, having a few beers and going out with the boys. And I remember getting home at like whatever time it was in the morning. And I was back on the tattoo chair at 8 a.m.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that was stupid. I don't know why I went out. Anyway, jumped on the tattoo chair, and it was a full day. And I remember from when he first started,
Bro.
like put that needle into me, I started bleeding.
No.
And I was like, oh no. And he said to me, and because they're not very good with English, he just said, oh, you drink? I said, yeah, I party. He said, oh, not good. I said, thanks. And I remember I was in the chair for like 8 hours, 10 hours.
Oh,
Started
man.
at 8, got out of there at like 4 p.m.
You've been shaking. Were you shaking?
Yeah,
Had the
had the sweats, the shakes.
Oh.
I remember we finally finished, and the boys were like, you coming out? I said, no way. I said, I could hardly walk. I remember I was like, oh, I'll be better the next, be sweet by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I remember tomorrow coming around, my leg was just swelled up, red, oozing out with like, it was just bad. It was yuck. And I remember going to the boys, I was like, it's bad, eh? And I was limping like through the airport. I remember going to the boys, it's bad. And they're like, oh, no, I think you'll be right. They were trying to tell me it's all good. And I was like, it's not good. I remember messaging Doc. I said, Doc, how do you know if a tattoo's infected? He goes, what's it look like? And I just showed him, and he said, oh, are you sure it was a clean needle? I said, yeah, it was a clean needle. I said, I was just being an idiot. I was drinking piss the night before, and it was hot in Bali, and then it was cold in back home, so it was just everything. And luckily it wasn't infected, but it was just yuck. I remember literally laying, I couldn't walk for a week.
No way.
So I could have been infected, I don't know. I remember my leg was just the size of a balloon and couldn't walk for ages.
Yeah. What did the doc say when you got back? Was he just like, listen, man, I don't know what.
Yeah, he said, look, I don't know, but he just said, you just need rest. He said, you can try and put like cold ice packs on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said, just stay off it.
Far out. That is so funny.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And also, I've been told that you're not a big horror movie man.
Hate it.
And there's certain things that you do to try to come down after a horror movie.
Right, who's told you this?
I can't tell my sources, bro.
Yeah, hate horror movies, bro. I hate scary and that. I'll just throw a happy movie on or something after. I hate them, bro.
What did you watch that scarred you so bad?
Oh, bro, I don't know. There's been, I used like when it first come out, hated clowns and that. From a young age, my family used to just torment me. Like my uncles and that would just used to throw like white covers, like doona covers or a sheet, and then just like be under them and pretend they're ghosts and that.
So you got friggin' PTSD from
Yeah,
childhood.
from when I was young, and then I've hated it ever since. And then every time like horror comes on, I just no way, I can't do it.
And so do you genuinely put happy movies on after the
Yeah, like when I watched Chainsaw Massacre or something, and bro, that was that. I hated it, and I was like, I put like Madagascar on after. I can't do this.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Bro, ask all the boys his favourite rapper of all time.
Favorite rapper? Oh, I love 50.
That first hit, Get Rich or Die Trying, is just
Yeah,
like, bruh, no
that,
skip.
that movie as well. I love his movie. Yeah, love 50. I love J. Cole. J. Cole's up there.
What did you think about him apologising in the
Yeah, that was shit. Don't agree. But yeah, there's heaps. There's 50 and J. Cole, my favourite.
Okay, all right. Favourite movie of all time?
Favourite movie?
Madagascar?
Nah, I think Shawshank Redemption's up there.
Yeah. That's easily the most popular.
Yeah.
Whenever I ask for boys, usually that's the answer.
Yeah, that's just
Gun movie.
Gun.
Bro, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I really do appreciate it. And, mate, I cannot wait to see you boys this year. Cannot wait.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.